Solace is a project Earl Sweatshirt silently released on YouTube in 2015. It consists of 5 parts of Earl rapping his true, deep emotions of loneliness and overall sadness that he has. During this time, it wasn't really known from his fans or fans around the world that Earl Sweatshirt felt this way because he continued to perceive himself and like have himself in the public as a more so happy guy. He did kind of hint at other emotions and I don't like shit, I don't go outside, which dropped on the same year, but this really goes in depth with that. His diehard fans will tell you that it is his magnum opus or his best work due to the emotional vulnerability and impact that it has on them and him as an artist. Let's talk about it. Part 1 of Solace contains his most coherent, but most like, I wouldn't say most, but it is very emotionally driven part of it. So we go straight into it and he makes it apparent. He is dealing with heavy amounts of depression, sadness, and guilt, and it plagues his mind. He has a line in here where he specifically says, "My mental is caged." And the continuous theme of this entire project is always going to be that he feels like his mind is in a cage or that he's dealing with something mentally that leads to his depression, which ultimately wants him to end his life or find some sort of way to meet demise or meet the end of it all. His loneliness specifically is something he speaks about all the time on this album, or not even album, this project. And you hear a lot of this more on some rap songs, but the crazy part is this drops 3 years before some rap songs. This is like the I don't like shit, I don't go outside era, which is very surprising to know because like he doesn't really address this that much on that album. But yeah, other than that, he talks about his addiction to drugs, specifically weed, and how it's led to negative feelings between his family and him, causing him to have rifts between a lot of people in his family, specifically his mother. He talks about his grandmother on this album as well because she's unfortunately deceased. He speaks about her on the 3rd part. And a few lines that I really like from this is I wouldn't by like I don't mean like it makes me happy, but like I like how he uses it to address his emotions. And one of them is, "When they drag me out the gutter, man, my ashes to my mother." So what he's saying to like in that instance, obviously, is that whenever he dies, he wants his mother to have his ashes, which is basically him at the age of 21, mind you, when he made this, saying explicitly that he thinks he's gonna die before his mom, and he wants whatever happens to him, he wants her to have the ashes of his body. And another line that I really like from this is, "One foot stuck in the tar pit of my ways." Let me reread that because I didn't read the best. "One foot stuck in the tar pit of my ways," which is basically him saying that he resents the decisions he's made in like, basically he resents himself to the point where his mind is taking him to this place where he's always going to feel like he's one step behind of being able to become a better man, or like even the man that he wants to be, because of his feeling of like loneliness, depression, and just like guilt. This is really just like a guilt built issue in his mind that his brain is punishing him with. He's been having this happen to him for a long time, it seems. He says in this little project that he's been alone for a while. He's been lonely, and the relationships around him are continuing to fade. So part 1, it really captivates you when you first hear it. And I heard this back in like 2016, 2017. So I've heard this before. This is just me kind of reacclimating myself with the emotion and mood of this. And it is an emotional listen. The first 16 times I've heard this, I've definitely cried. Like, cause it's an emotional act that he's done here. And he goes more into depth with it with my favorite album by him and some rap songs where he just talks about how he feels lonely and like disgusted with his old like decisions that he made as a child, or even decisions he makes now. He feels guilty for his parents not being together. He feels guilty for his father. Like, he feels guilt for everything that went wrong in his life, and it's his mind making him feel that way. And it's causing him to make music like this because it's the only way that he can stop killing himself with drugs or not eating right, or just being unhealthy. This is the only way he can get his mind off of that. In part 2 of this, I'm not gonna lie, it's very, very hard to speak on this part. It sounds like he's going through it sounds like he's having a deep psychosis, or he's either extremely sleep deprived. He's continuously just telling himself that everything will be okay, even though he feels like everything's wrong. His mind is basically in this his mind is numbed to the point where everything that he's continue to beat himself up on and kind of like kill his own emotion and mind with is just gone. And he's just deprived. The drugs are getting to his head. He's like, I don't, fuck. Yeah. He's just numb. The loneliness has numbed his brain. He doesn't care about life anymore in this instance. He talks about how he's continued to smoke a lot of weed, tried to, numb his brain so he stops thinking. And he kind of spoke about that on, what's it called? I don't like shit, I don't go outside. He says, my nightmares got more vivid when I stopped smoking pot. So he's saying, like, he has this ultra dependency on weed, and it's led to him feeling like this whenever he's on it or off it. His brain just continuously blames him regardless of anything. This is the hardest part to get through, because the emotion that you feel from this man kind of just like, it sounds like he's nodding off. So he's either sleep deprived or he's on a like major psychosis where he just can't really get his words out, and it's like hard to listen to. But like, I can't stop listening to it. Like, I re-listened to this part like 5 times before making this video because of how like emotionally charged it truly is. This is probably the best part of the whole project, in my opinion, honestly. And then the instrumental in the later part of this, I don't know if they consider this the same part, but I do because it fits with the lyricals. But it goes from his like dark piano to a dark piano with like very loud screeching, but it's not like vocals, it's an instrument. I know the instrument, I forgot what it's called, but it's like very loud shrieking. And from my inference, I was saying that the shrieking is possibly his mind, how he's kind of like losing it, how he's lost a lot of stuff. His loneliness, his drug dependency, all this stuff is just continuing to hammer at him, kill him, and just make him not him anymore. But a few standout lines is he continuously repeats a lot of lines. Like, he repeats "me and my nibbling conscience" because his conscience is continuing to eat at him, make him feel like he's really fucked up his life at this young age. Nothing's gonna stop us or save us. This is him, like I said earlier, he's numb to the thought of him losing his life. He's numb to basically living. He's numbed. There is nothing that he feels. My brain's gonna split in two. He's speaking on the pain of continuously feeling like you're wrong, or like feeling like you don't deserve what you have, or feeling just unhappy. Like, he's just continuously feeling that, and his brain is just in consistent pain from it. And another one is, it's raining a bit, hope it's a monsoon. So it's basically him always hoping for the worst case scenario around him. I understand this is very self-explanatory. He doesn't want to live anymore. This is what Earl is speaking on in this. And yeah, it's this is a very, very hard thing to listen to. If you are not in the right mental state, or if you're not in like a state where you're able to like listen to something like this, don't do it. I'm being honest. This is very, very I'm not going to call it harmful. I don't think it's harmful at all. It's very vulnerable, and a lot of people relate to it. At the time when I first listened to it, I did relate to it. So like, if you feel like you're not able to handle something like that, I really do not recommend you listening to this, truly. And another one he says is, I'm seeing my mom soon. I'm faded. I stink. This speaks more on his consistent addiction to marijuana and drugs in general, and how it is continuing to separate himself from his own mother. And he speaks on his mother a bit on this. This album is kind of like a weird type of tribute to his mother and his grandmother. So when you hear this type of stuff, it's like, wow, he's really like, it's not even like he's sad. He's more so apologetic, and like, it's killing him how guilty he feels and how he's made the people around him feel, even if it wasn't him directly, even if it was just like something around him. His brain has led him to believe that everything was him. Solace is the pinnacle of vulnerability and loneliness within rap. Earl catches every single emotion in this project, from loneliness to fear to regret to like overall dread, in a 10-minute span. I would recommend this to anybody going through a tough time and you need somebody to relate to. Definitely, this is something that a lot of people can relate to, especially when you're around that age where you're feeling regret and any sort of sadness and things like that. And remember that a lot of people love you regardless to what your brain is telling you. I'm very happy that Earl has grown past this era in his life. And I'm happy to see he's grown from this. He's found solace in a lot of things since this, and he's also been able to, find love in different ways. I believe he is engaged now, so congratulations to him. But now he's like, I see him on the internet, and he's like a kind of like an old dad cooking on the grill and shit. It's very cool to see, and I'm happy for him.